It's right here. Scoot over a little bit. Okay, far away. You scared of me? Scoot a little bit more. Yeah. There you go, man. All right, let me share this. All right, mute this. I hate when they do that. Shalom, everybody online. 1 second. Going to share the live stream. We're going to get class started. Share this live stream. Shalom to everybody online. Give me 1 second. All right. All right, we in business. Shalom, family. How y'all feeling? Brothers, take your notes. If you do not take notes, I'm telling you right now, we're going to quiz on this. I am telling you. So you better take notes because it's going to be some information that you probably haven't heard before. So I'm going to say it again. Every single brother in here, if you're really about the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Mashiach, you need to take notes. All right. And if you think that you got a super king memory, then more power to you. But I don't think nobody in here got an A+ memory. So I will recommend that everybody takes notes. Okay. Remember, these are classes. This is not just where we just come together like the Christian church and y'all hear a good lesson and say, damn, that was good, and we forget about it. We want this information to stick. Okay. Because if I was to ask you, Nico, why do you believe in the Bible? Why do you believe in the Bible? Why do you follow the Bible? Why are you trying to tell me to follow the Bible? What would you tell me?
Because the word.
How do you know that?
The whole scripture says so, but it's probably by the
that's
spirit,
bias.
by the spirit.
That's bias. I don't want to hear nothing. Of course, the book gonna say it's the truth. That's bias. How you know whoever put that in there didn't put that in there to trick you to say it was the truth book?
Because the scripture say that man is not the author.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? I want you to be able to be prepared for questions like those. If I was to ask you, Calvert, what would you tell me? Why do you follow the Bible? And everybody that's online, ask your own self, why do you follow the Bible? And if somebody asks you that question, would you be able to give them a legitimate answer? Sisters, if somebody asks y'all, why do you follow the Bible? Why you follow the Bible? La, why you follow the Bible? Prophecy, okay.
They tell you how to get eternal life, plus history is in there. Slavery.
History, eternal life, okay. That's why you follow it. Shit,
Life.
there's history in the American books.
History of the slavery, it happened in real life.
Yeah, history happens in real life. We know that.
Hey, it happened it says in the
so I believe in American history. Now what?
Well, hey, American history ain't got nothing to do with the scripture. As far as
You sure?
No, but I'm saying we saw it before the whole. Never mind.
So you see what I'm saying? Look, if you're gonna say to me, I follow the Bible because of history, well, I follow Buddhism because of history. Is Buddhism not about Siddhartha Gautama, part of Buddhism history? He created it. He went throughout the world studying peace, and that's where he got his Buddhism religion. So hey, if you follow the Bible because of history, guess what? I follow Buddhism because of history. What makes it different? Bible tell the future? You sure? Shoot. Islam tell the future. The Quran. It's prophecy in the Quran, ain't it? Ain't it prophecy in the Quran? So I follow the Quran. Now what?
What prophecy in the Quran?
There's a lot of prophecy. Just no. I can pull out right now. They said it's prophecy of cell phones in there. But you see what I'm saying. The point is, if we bring that out, right? Just like you said to me, is there prophecy in the Islam Quran? I would have to prove that to you the same way. So now I would legitimately say, okay, well, it's a stalemate. Fine. Let me go back, do my homework, and find some prophecy in Islam. You go back and do your homework and find some prophecy in the Bible. You know, so I want you guys to be solidified in what the Bible is. Now, Write this down. Fun facts. How many of you guys know that the Bible is the #1 selling book in the world? All right. It's the most sold book in the world. We're not talking about in America. You know how many copies the Bible has won the Guinness, still today holds the Guinness World Record of more books sold than any book on the face of the planet. 500 billion copies. 500 billion copies have been sold with the Bible. So the Bible is the most sold book in the world. Okay, how many of you guys knew that? All right. Does anybody know what a manuscript is? It's okay. Give me the definition of manuscript. If you don't know what it is, write these terms down because you will test and have to know these terms. So if you're not taking notes and we ask you what a manuscript means, Iran do them pop-up quizzes he like, and he asks you what a manuscript is, and you can't give an answer, then you failed that test. So who has the definition of manuscript? Anybody?
Got it.
Go ahead.
Manuscript, the original text of an author's work, handwritten or now usually typed, that is submitted to a publisher. Any text not printed, a book or a document written before the invention of printing, writing as distinguished from print.
So a manuscript is just anything that's a written word, a written letter that's written. It's not printed. You know, now we got the printing press, right? We have the printing press. You type up letters and things. Those are not manuscripts. A manuscript is literally written by hand. That's a manuscript. So you can literally say when you writing down in your notebook, you're writing a manuscript because all it is just you writing by hand, right? So the Bible, how many of you guys know that the Bible has the oldest manuscripts in the world? So you know that BS they tell you, the white man, that's the white man Bible. How? When the manuscripts date back to before the white man was controlling anything. The oldest manuscripts, right, that in the world, if you type in right now, what are some of the oldest, in Google right now, what are some of the oldest manuscripts? It's going to tell you, right? I'm going to tell you what's going to come up, all right? The manuscripts of the Bible. Now, I want you guys to write this down. I want you guys to write down, these are some of the manuscripts of the Bible. The manuscripts are, right? The Hebrew is the Masoretic text, okay? Masoretic. Let me spell it for y'all. So it's Masoretic, Masoretic, okay, text. Now, all that means is when you look up what the word Masoretic comes from, it just comes from the word Mezorite. You guys know who the Mezorites are? It's a sect of Jews, all right? The Mezorites, all right? So that's all that term comes from. The Mezorites were considered to be scribes, all right? The Mezorites were considered to be scribes. Write down scribe, okay? A scribe is just a person that writes, okay, written word or scripture. Anybody familiar with the scribes? Okay, so I want brothers to really take good notes on this. So the Masoretic text it comes from the Mezorites, all right? And now something that I learned, right? Because we know about the Masoretic text, but really the Masoretic text is not one text. That's just the people that wrote the text. The text, right, would be the Aleppo text or the Aleppo Codex. All right. Aleppo is spelled Aleppo, Codex. And the Leningrad, okay, Codex. Those are the two codex that the Masoretics or the Mezorites wrote. All right. The Aleppo is Aleppo Codex. And then the Leningrad is Leningrad Codex. These are the two oldest Hebrew codexes in the world. All right, outside from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Leningrad, Leningrad. Okay. These are the now this is important to understand, because outside of the Dead Sea Scrolls, you can write down Dead Sea Scrolls, right? The Dead Sea Scrolls, the Aleppo Codex, and the Leningrad Codex, these are the oldest manuscripts. All right, these are the oldest manuscripts dating back to the ancient scriptures. All right, now these are very important. I'm gonna tell you why. These are very, very, very important because they hold the entirety of your Old Testament. So when somebody tells you the white man wrote the Bible, the white man wrote the Bible, normally when somebody tell you that, they don't know, excuse my language, they don't know shit about history. Because this is all you do when a person tells you that. Prove it. What white man? They can always go back to King James. King James didn't write the Bible. He translated it from these texts. I'm saying, go ahead. They hold the between the Aleppo Codex, the Leningrad Codex, and the Dead Sea Scrolls. They hold all of the New Old Testament. Okay, and then you could write down the Septuagint. All right, the Septuagint, right, is where the New Testament, right, comes from, and that's the writings in Greek. SEPTUAGINT, Septuagint. That is the New Testament written in Greek, ancient Greek. Okay, SEPTUAGINT. Okay, so this is where we get this book right here. Comes from the Aleppo Codex, the Leningrad Codex, the Septuagint. All right, you got to look up these manuscripts so that you can be confident in what you're studying, because these manuscripts were written by scholars and they weren't white men. Okay, they weren't white men. All right, so keep those terms in mind. Now I'm going to show you the importance of those terms. Go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, Septuagint, Salakia. Septuagint was translated in Koine Greek, the Old Testament manuscripts. Septuagint, the Old Testament. The Old Testament. I just want to. The Old Testament manuscript. The Old, not the New. Old Testament. Old Testament and the Apocrypha was included. Old Testament and Apocrypha was included in the Septuagint. Old Testament translated from Old Testament text into Koine Greek during the time when we was in captivity of the Greeks. He hired 72 scribes to translate the Hebrew scrolls into Koine Greek, because that was the language we was oppressed and forced to speak during the time of Antiochus and all them boys.
Latin Vulgate. They gotta write that down.
Koine Greek, Koine. That's the key word to let you know that these Hebrews or these Greeks were Hebrews, because Hebrews are the only ones speaking Koine Greek. That's an identifier that you use to know that these particular Greeks are Hellenist Greeks. That's it on that.
And also write down the Latin Vulgate too. All right, Vulgate is VULGATE. Okay, so those are some manuscripts that you guys can look up, research, and study. Keep those on hand. Now, I'm going to actually talk a little bit about the Aleppo Codex, all right, because that one is important. Now, Aleppo is a city in Syria, all right? Aleppo is a city in Syria. That's where that name comes from. The manuscripts were actually found in Assyria. Now, this is important. I want you guys to pay attention to this, because everybody wants a piece of your history except you, all right? Now, it was in Syria, right? It can be dated, right, to AD 930, okay, is when the Aleppo can be dated back to, okay? AD 930, and it was in Syria. Aleppo is a city that is in Syria, all right? Now, 200 pages of this particular codex has vanished, and they don't know where it is. It is vanished. Now, I'm going to give you a little history of this. When we got kicked out of our land in 70 AD, right? Who inhabited the land? The Arabs did. The Arabic nations did. They moved in, right? And they had a lot of our texts. Now, in the 1940s, What happened in the 1940s? The fake Jews did what? They came back under the Balfour Declaration to say, hey, we're the real Jews and we're going to come in that land and take back our land. And what did they do? They annexed the Arabic nations that were in the land. This is where you get the fighting from. The fighting goes back. I mentioned it one time in a video when you deal with the Holy Wars, right? The Holy Wars is just a fight for the Holy Land between the Arabic nations and your Caucasian nations or Edomites. They're fighting for the land. So in 1940, they finally signed a bill, the Balfour Declaration, to go into the land and take the land back. Now, this didn't sit right with the Arabs, okay? And what they did was they tried to destroy a lot of artifacts that was in their possessions dealing with our people. The Edomite Jews, the Jewish community, tried to get it back. So what they did was before they took the Aleppo Codex and put it back in Jerusalem, when the fake Jews got it, the Arabs destroyed a lot of the manuscripts before the fake Jews got it. See, this is a history that's going on and y'all don't even know what's going on. People fighting for it. Right now to this day, people fighting. They got this locked up in a vote right now. The Aleppo Codex, they got this locked up in a vote. Literally, that you cannot see. Literally. With the Dead Sea Scrolls and everything is locked up in a vote in Jerusalem. That they not letting you near it. Nico, you wouldn't be able to go see this. They keeping that locked up because so many people are trying to get it. You know how much that it's worth? It's worth billions of dollars. Your history is worth billions. Meanwhile, we got the so-called black conscious community. The Bible written by the white man. And they not fighting for the walls of Egypt. I don't see nobody fighting for the Dead Sea Scrolls. They fighting for Hebrew manuscripts. Why? Why are they fighting for Hebrew manuscripts? They're literally fighting for Hebrew manuscripts. Now, fun fact, right? And we're going to get into some scriptures and I'm going to show y'all some stuff today, right? Because I want to prove to you how important, because the white man, all the other nations, they know how important the Bible is. This is why they're fighting for it. They know how important this is. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Who wrote the Bible? Most High, good. Most High did. Who wrote the Bible? It's a lot. Thank you for that correction.
Yeah, the prophets, but wasn't like the Herbo or something? Nah, it's like
introduced the script after the Syrian captivity.
We know Ezra's, right? We know that's a good one. Ezra's, he had his own manuscript, right?
More people.
Get that?
It starts with an H or E. I don't know how to say that name.
I don't know what you're speaking of.
Herbo or where Hebrew came from.
Eber?
Yeah, something like that.
Eber? You're talking about Eber?
Yeah, Hebrew people or something like that.
I don't know. Get your thoughts together. Let me know. So, who wrote the Bible? What is Bible come from? What word does Bible come from? Biblios. Write it down if you didn't know. Biblios, which means what? Collection of books. That's a hard one. How you spell Biblios?
Biblos.
Yeah. Biblios. That's Latin. Yes. Okay. Biblios. Okay. Now it just means collect. This is where you get the word Bible from. Bible just means collection of books. So if somebody tells you, watch this. If somebody tells you the white man wrote the Bible, well, what white man? Because one person didn't write this. This is a collection of books, literally from manuscripts that have been found. You understand? From different writers that we really don't have no record on. Watch this. Every biblical scholar, right? Every biblical scholar will tell you that they don't know who wrote. Like, you know how we say the first 5 books of Moses, right? We can associate it with it because we know the scriptures associate Moses with the law, right? But if you want to get technically speaking, we don't know who rewrote the first 5 books. So we don't know the author. To be technical, if you want to get technical with it, we don't know the author of Deuteronomy. We don't know because if you go back in time, it was really oral tradition that was passed down. Prime example, okay? What king, I'm going to test y'all knowledge. What king had one of the biggest Passovers? Huh? What king had one of the biggest Passovers and that found the law that was tucked away, that was put away? What was his name?
I should know this, brothers.
What was the king that had the biggest Passover and he got the law. The law was put up, and he got the law and put the law back into practice in the scriptures. Was it?
David.
No. Huh? You got that preset?
Yeah, it was Josiah.
Yeah. You got that preset?
Which one you want?
Josiah?
Josiah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in Ezra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Read that precept. You was right, y'all. But I want you to be confident, right? Be confident. And this is important. Josiah, I'm going to show you something because the Bible, right, which we call it the Bible today, but our history and our manuscripts would often get destroyed. Okay, the other nations would destroy our history for a reason, right? Whenever you can find it.
Okay.
Got it.
First Ezra chapter 1, verse 1. And Josiah held the feast of the Passover in Jerusalem unto the Lord, and offered Passover the 14th day of the first month, having set the priests according to their daily courses, being arrayed in long garments in the temple of the Lord. And he spake unto the Levites, the holy ministers of the Lord, that they should hallow themselves unto the Lord,
Right.
to set the holy ark of the Lord in the house that the King Solomon,
So
the
you
son
can
of
stop
David.
right there. So basically, Josiah, right? Because in different periods of time, our law would get swept away. It would either get destroyed by the heathen nations or it would get put away, you know, when we went into wickedness. So oftentimes we had to rewrite it, retranslate it, right? And this is where holy men came and had to align it up with true historical events. Now, somebody might say, well, dang, well, how can we trust the Bible then? If we see that through history, different individuals had to retranslate it, rewrite it, recopy it down. That's like a chain. What is it called? The chain letter? What is a chain letter? A chain letter is when what? When I whisper a message to you and you whisper a message to him, and then we at the end of the line, we see if the message is distorted, right? So how do you know? This is why the Bible is so complete. I want y'all to pay attention to this. This is why the Bible is so complete. The Bible is so complete because it's like, wait, we can't right now. Let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. We're gonna do an experiment right now. I'm gonna whisper in this brother ear, and he's gonna whisper in my ear, and we're gonna go all around the room, right, to deliver the message, and we're gonna see if the message is distorted. Yeah, our telephone. Yeah, is telephone?
Yeah. Don't do it too loud.
All right. Ready? Y'all ready?
Yeah.
No, go this way. This way. Go that way. No, say oh, that's it.
One time,
That's
one
it.
time.
One time. That's one time. That's one time. That's one time. Yeah, hey, that's one time. That's the point. That's the point of the game. Go ahead. So pass it. Yeah.
One time.
One time. One time. One time. One time.
It ain't even 10 people. You already messed up.
Only one time. There you go. Pass it to Calbert and then pass it to Young Boy. Young Boy pass it to Nico. Get live. Get live. I'm gonna show y'all something.
Brothers are not whispering.
All right, what is it?
We were supposed to Passover.
No. No.
Wow.
Now that is crazy. It was I love to eat good cookies.
You messed it all up.
Chad messed it all up. Now, Do y'all see how that one simple, right, quick game, right? That one simple quick game, everybody messed up. Now, picture thousands of years of information passed down accurately. That's what this is right here. That's far-fetched, ain't it? Like, I ain't believing that. You crazy. But we're going to prove it to you. We're going to prove to you that this scripture, right, from the manuscripts has been translated and passed down correctly throughout the years. That can only be a divine presence. It can't be nothing else. That's why this is the most important book in the world, the most powerful book in the world, because what other book can do that or say that it can do that? You might have you might have your people that don't believe this that's watching online. You might be like, yeah, right. Well, I'm going to show you. We're going to show you. So now let's get Isaiah 34:16. Watch this. This is the power of the scriptures.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail. No shall want her mate. For my mouth have commanded, and his spirit it gathered them.
Now it says, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail. Did our words fail in that game? Come. He said, but his words will not fail. And then he says, none shall want her mate, for my mouth it has commanded, and his spirit has gathered them. The Most High has commanded it. So, a message from the Most High ain't messing up. He gonna tell you, like a chain game or whatever you want to call it, telephone or chain letter, however you want to call it. Most High give you a message. That's exactly what the Most High did. The Most High gave his prophets a message. Then the prophets gave that prophet a message. Then that prophet gave that prophet a message. And it has been translated perfectly. And we're going to go through it and see it throughout the ages of history. Because if you get the Aleppo Codex, if you get the Septuagint, which Salakia earlier, the Septuagint is just the Greek Old Testament. So I want to say Salakia on that. I messed up, had a brain fart on that. And you get the Leningrad Codex, right? That was all translated or written by the Mesoretics or the Mesorites. Okay, and it can line up exactly with this. You understand? Now we're going to prove it, because somebody might say, well, I don't see the power in it yet. That's fine. I want to show you the power. So the Most High said, I have commanded it. Right then and there, a man couldn't do that, because we couldn't even deliver a simple message in here together. So that couldn't be a man. It couldn't be manly. No matter what you want to say, that's a man-made book. It couldn't be, because how has thousands of years of history? I'm talking about. Let me show y'all something. Let me read this. This from 2:2. All right, I'm gonna read this. We're gonna read a little bit out of this book. This is a real simple book to read, and I love bringing it out because it's real simple to read and really simple to understand. You understand? And we're gonna bring out a couple of books, but this is one of them that I really like bringing out. Now, listen to what Rudolph R. Windsor says in the first paragraph, right? Understand this. The whole world, Esau, right, and all his archaeologists, the whole nine, they all will agree with this one statement. Don't let them fool you by telling you the Bible was nothing, and the Bible was old, and the Bible was outdated, and the Bible was this. No, they understand this. If you want to read it, read right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Babylon, the 10th book 2, in the preface, last paragraph. It behooves me to express my debt to the faculty.
Not the preface, the Ancient Black Civilization, chapter 1. Go to chapter 1.
Chapter 1. Chapter 1, last paragraph. I shall prove conclusively that the black people have the most ancient history of all humans.
Is that true? Black people have the most ancient history of all nations. Read.
The best available source of proof is the history of the Jews.
Why did he say the best available source of proof is the history of the Jews? Why would he say that? Anybody? Where's the cradle of civilization? The fertile crescent. Mesopotamia, right? Where the rivers flow, the Nile, the Tigris, the Euphrates, right? All of those rivers, which we call so-called the Africa, the region, or the so-called Middle East, right? That's where the Fertile Crescent is. But when you read the scriptures of the Garden of Eden would agree with that. Wait, hold on. Outside of on the Egyptian pyramids, you can read about Egyptian history, right? Inside of the Bible. When the Bible says Egypt was in power, who was in power? When it says Babylon, ancient Babylon was in power, who was in power? It talks about the ancient Chaldeans. It talks about the Sumerians. Where was Abraham from? Sumeria, which is where? Regions in the areas of Mesopotamia, the ancient Chaldeans. That predates all of Egypt, but that's all talked about in the scriptures. Now, this is how the scriptures work. You might read something and you just might think it's vague and that's one simple thing I just read. But if you dig deep, you can go and on a trip. You can take one precept and you can go on a whole historical trip with that one precept. Take Chaldea of the earth. It says Abraham was from the Chaldees of the earth, right? You can stop right there, close the Bible, and you can study for a whole week on the Chaldeans of earth. That one simple verse, that's why you can never be done studying the scriptures, because one simple verse can take you down a rabbit hole in history. And we're going to do it together today, right? So that's why the Bible has the most, because watch this, outside of a couple of little manuscripts that we will, as far as the Chaldeans and Ur, right? The Bible can be a testimony to prove that ancient civilization existed because it bears record of it. Watch this. There's not one nation, right? Ancient nation that the Bible does not bear record of. Y'all understand that? The Bible bears record of every civilization. Babylon, from ancient Babylon, from Babel to the more recent 6th century BC Babylon, the Babylonians. You got the Greeks talked about in there. You got the Romans talked about in there. You got the Persians and the Medes talked about. You got every single ancient, right? Civilization is talked about in this book. Is there any lie in that? No, because when it tells you these civilizations came to be, we can clearly see these civilizations came to be, right? So the Bible is such an amazing book, right? And the Most High had to have gathered these books together. Let's go from there. Let's read verse 17.
Verse 17.
Isaiah, yeah.
Isaiah 34:17. And he had casted the lots for them, and his hand had divided it unto them by line.
Now, and we're going to see in history, how is the Bible destroyed and we still got it right now? Live. How good is your memory, bro? Not that good. Who got a good memory in here? You okay? You all right? Now, imagine if you wrote a book, right? Let's say you wrote a book, and then I take that book from you, and then I destroy the whole book. Would you be able to copy that book exactly how you wrote it? No, something's gonna be different, huh? Bible was copied. You might even miss some stuff, but the Bible was copied exactly. How is that the case when we know the Greeks destroyed the scriptures? The Romans destroyed the scriptures. Shoot, you got Muslims right now destroying stuff. They're Aleppo Codex. They were trying to destroy that. The Most High still preserved it. You understand? He uses the pride of Esau, because you know what Esau does. That's why it says Ishmael is a wild man. See, Ishmael gonna destroy it. Esau, he too prideful to destroy it. He gonna hold it up as a trophy. The Most High put that on him so he can keep it. He don't even know. He think, yeah, I got it right here locked up in this vault. The point is, you still got it. So the Most High had to get it out of Ishmael's hands. He was like, get that. He sent Gabriel the angel. He said, commission the angel to go and get that from him. Give it to Esau. I know Esau, he everything, but one thing he ain't gonna destroy nothing. If it's for his pride benefit, he'll kill a lion just to hang his head up in the house. You understand? So we see that the Most High does everything strategically, right? So let's go from there. Let's go to Malachi 3:16. What is another word for Bible? For the Bible, you got what do we call the Bible? We call it the Word of God. What else do we call it? The Scripture, Holy Scriptures. What else do we call it? the canon, the word, right? Sword. What we call it? We call the Bible true, right? Let me give y'all a new name that y'all probably didn't know that the Bible had, right? Let's read that. Malachi 3:16.
Malachi chapter 3, verse 16. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one another.
Now, they that feared the Lord spake often one another. What were they speaking? The Bible. Look, prime example, Elijah and Elisha. Or did I say it the backwards way? Yeah, Elijah and Elisha. That was Elisha was Elijah's little protege. He said, I'm gonna tell you everything. And everything I tell you, you make sure you keep it going. Another prime example, Jeremiah and Baruch. Baruch, everything Jeremiah said, who wrote the book of Jeremiah? You can say it was about Jeremiah, but really who wrote it was Baruch.
He was the scribe.
He was a scribe. Baruch wrote Jeremiah. Jeremiah prophesied it and Baruch was writing it. So really, if you want to say who was the author of Jeremiah, you got to give Baruch some of that credit. So when it says that holy men spoke, what were they speaking? The Most High strategically selected groups of men to carry this message all the way to 2020. You're talking about 600 BC history preserved that we can read. And archaeology, I love archaeology because archaeology just proves everything in the Bible. You understand? And it's been preserved, right? So, holy men read.
Okay, verse 16. And the Lord hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance.
A book of what?
Remembrance.
The Bible is a book of remembrance. So you know what else you can call the Bible? The book of remembrance. Why? It ain't forgot. It ain't forgot. It ain't forgot. The book of remembrance. Right, read.
Was written before him for them that fear the Most High and that thought upon his name.
And it was written for those that fear the Most High. So the Most High strategically preserved this book for you, for everybody in here that fear the Lord. The Most High said, I know Nico, he in 2020, he gonna get that truth. I need to preserve this manuscript and I need to give it to Jeremiah and Baruch, and they need to translate it and write it down and make sure they keep it. And I need to preserve it all the way over 1,000 years to get to right here on Fig and El Segundo. And if you don't, we're going to prove it. I'm going to show you the power of the scriptures. Right now, I'm telling you, but I like to prove things within the scriptures. Right? That was Jack. That was Malachi 3:16. All right. So now let's get Psalm 68. Psalm 68 and
11.
Yep, 11. Watch this.
The book of Psalms.
So who wrote the Bible? You can't credit no one person for writing the Bible because it was so many people wrote the Bible. Read.
Psalm 68 and 11. The Lord gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it.
Great was the company of those that published it. Throughout the years, so many. Watch this. We know about the prophets, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, right? But it probably was other brothers that y'all don't even know about that preserved it. Great was the company. So when somebody tell you who wrote the Bible, take them to this scripture. Great was the company of them that wrote it. I don't know. I know certain names of prophets inside of the scriptures that can be attributed for their word. But as to who wrote it, you know what? I don't know what man the Most High used, but I know the Most High preserved it. And I know I can prove it to you. And I know I can prove it's not tampered with. I can prove that for a fact. And we're gonna do it today. Right? So with that being said, let's go from there and let's go to Exodus 31 and 18. Everybody following? All right, nobody confused? All right, good.
Exodus chapter 31, verse 18. And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communion with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimonies, tables of stone, written with the finger of the Most High.
So somebody can make did Moses write the law? He was a translator of the law. If anything, who wrote the law? Most High said with his finger, he wrote it. Y'all believe in mysticism. Call it what you want, but the Bible is a very, very mysterious book. I'm gonna show you. Y'all, after this, y'all gonna be like, wow, what we're reading. The book that you holding in your hand, But Christianity did a terrible injustice with the Bible. Terrible. They messed the Bible up so bad because of the way people view the Bible. We have to come back and put some respect back on these scriptures. So, but the white man and his archaeologists, they know what it is. They like these stupid Negroes.
Yeah, they know.
They know what it is. That's why they fighting so hard. Why you think they excavating over there in ancient Jerusalem and all of that? They trying to find stuff. Like, man, we need to find some more, man. We need to find some more papyrus. We need to find, why? Because it's the key. The Bible has the key of what? Life and death. Whoever holds the power of this book controls the world. Y'all don't believe me? When Babylon controlled the world, who did they have power over? The history of the people of this book. When the Greeks had power of the world, who they had control of? The history of the people of this book. When every civilization was in control, who did they have directly under them? Who in power right now? Where we at? Under them. This right here holds the key to all power. And whoever holds this sword, you ever seen that show He-Man? He had a sword. He said, I had a power with the sword. Whoever had this sword right here, they got the power. Go ahead. Huh?
And look, another key point, what my brother Roger bringing out is beautiful. Every civilization that lost us, and when we exit out of the civilizations, have never rose in power again. All the way back to Egypt. Everybody that had us in their possession always flourished. And once we exit, so did their kingdom.
Every time.
Every single one.
Greeks
Dropped.
Who dropped them?
Rome.
The Romans did, but the Maccabees, when we exited out of them and got rid of them, guess who came up? Rome. Then who had power over Israel after that? Rome. Once we got out of them, they felt we're going to get the history of that because I'm going to go into Rome and Greece. But every civilization that didn't had us down, right, was in power, right? So now, let's go from there. Let's write down Deuteronomy 9 and 10. Write that down, and let's go to 2nd Ezra 14 and 3.
2nd Ezra, in your Apocrypha, chapter 14, verse 3.
After this lesson, y'all gonna walk away with the Bible in your hand confident. You're gonna be like, I'm confident in this word. This is hell of a, what they also what they call the Bible? They call it a work. It's a hell of a work. Work just means it was work to keep it, preserve it, and call it a work. It was a hell of a work to preserve this throughout the ages. Let's read that.
Verse 3. Then said he unto me, in the bush, I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moses and talk with him when my people served in Egypt. And I sent him and led my people out of Egypt and brought him up to the mount of Sinai, where I held him by me a long season and told him many wondrous things and showed him secrets of the times and the end and commanded him, saying,
now pay attention to this. He said he showed Moses everything, and then he commanded him, saying, read,
these words shall thou declare, and these shall thou hide.
There's certain words that are hidden right in plain sight. Why did he say, let them that have ears, let them hear, let them that have eyes, let them see? Why did he say that?
Yeah.
Exactly. But wait, everybody has a Bible. I don't understand how everybody got one book. This is skeptics. They retarded. They don't understand nothing. I don't understand how y'all all got one Bible and y'all getting separate things. You know why? Because the Bible said it. The Bible told. Now that's a hell of a book. You know the argument. The argument. What you say? It's spiritual, right? Let's go to Daniel. Let's go to Daniel. Last chapter. So when somebody try to bring that up, I just don't understand how it's one book and everybody got different interpretations of the book. Well, guess what? I would give you more credit with that argument if the Bible said that everybody would understand it. But the Bible literally tells you that everybody not gonna get it. The Most High literally tells you. I'm gonna let him tell you. Let's get Daniel. You know what I want.
Daniel chapter 12, verse 10. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand.
Let's to and fro. Oh yeah, seal up. Let's read verse 8.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
And I heard, but understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the end time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white.
So it says that the word shall be sealed up to the end of time. What does that mean? The word shall be sealed up. That means that when you read, go ahead. Not really that. Sealed up means that when you read it, watch this. Ain't no change in it. It does mean that. But what it means is when you reading it, there's a seal on it. You know, a seal is something to lock something, right? Keep you from getting to it. Or so when you seal those words, guess what? You can read because we have the words right here. But what does it mean that they're sealed? They're sealed. That is right. But exactly, I'm reading it, but I just don't get it because it wasn't meant for you to get it. The Most High is selecting who he wants to understand his word. That's why you have certain teachers and prophets that are being raised up right now, teaching the word with understanding. Those men you go to help you because everybody's not going to get this word. They're sealed. You got to get to the wise men that understand this word. And there's many false prophets that are taking this word and twisting this word, but the word said it would happen. Do you understand that? What kind of book tell you what's going to happen before it happened negative about it? Yeah. What book? Look at this. This is the book. This is a book right here. Any book. You get psychology book. You get any type of book. What book tells you about it before it happened negatively though? There's no other book. You can read any book you want. Pick whatever book you want. No, there's no book as complex as this book ever in the whole entire world. No book. Literally. The Most High just told you, why you mad if they don't believe you? Why you mad? Didn't he say, surely if they didn't believe me, they ain't gonna believe you? So there ain't even no point to even get mad because the book told you that they ain't gonna get it. Right? So let's go from there and let's read so let's go from there and let's speed up the pace because I want to show some of these prophecies. Let's get Sirach, the prologue. We went through that today in the spirit, didn't we? So let's go to Sirach. If you got your red apocryphas, all right, that's page 70 in your red apocryphas. Khan, and yes, that's exactly why it's written in parables. Absolutely. We can start at not verse, but we can start it up at the top paragraph.
On the right side or the left?
The left. No, the right.
The right side. All right, this is the Sirach prologue on the right column, second column. Whereas many and great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets, and by others that have followed their steps. For the which things Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom, and whereof not only the readers must need become skillful themselves.
Now, watch this. Don't ever let nobody tell you the book is a Bible for dummies. Do you know how skillful the translators have to be to translate this? Do you know how educated? Do you know the top educators translated this? What are you talking about? This is the top. Go ahead. Yes. Yes, exactly. And it was a work. You know how hard it was? And we're talking specifically with the King, because we have the King James translation. Do you know how hard it was for them to really translate this? That's why. And look, not only was it hard for them to translate it, but the scriptures say that it's going to be hard for you to read it. It didn't say it was going to be easy. I just don't understand. It's just too hard for me to get. Yeah, exactly. Because you got to be knowledgeable. You can't be no idiot. You can't just pick up the Bible and just start. Well, you can if the Spirit on you. But if the Spirit ain't on you, just can't pick up the Bible. Man, I tried. I tried to read from Genesis all the way to the end. You're not going to get it. Because what did he say just now? He said what?
Must needs become skillful themselves.
It says the readers must need to become skillful themselves. You know what that means? That means that you're going to have your Bible tools. You're going to have the concordance. When you read the Bible, you don't have to be a scholar. You know what? When you read the Bible, be prepared to get in history. So guess what? Now you became a historian. But wait, now you become an archaeologist because now it's talking about archaeology. Now you come I don't know the politically correct term, but you got to be good with geographical locations. You got to know maps. Geographer. So guess what? I just became, out of reading the Bible, I just became a geographer, a historian, and an archaeologist, all in reading the Bible. Shit, I gotta know. And you become a linguist. I gotta know what that word means. I gotta get my You know how smart you gonna be after reading the Bible? Your head about to explode. You're gonna be walking out. Y'all be like, Rasa, you smart. I ain't smart. I just studied the Bible. I was kind of slow in school. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I had D's and I had F's and I was happy to get a D. Okay. That's the kid I was in 6th grade. No, it's a true story. And I had 1 A in PE. Okay. I was that kid. You understand? So no teacher gave me it wasn't, you can't credit LAUSD for me and this brother right here and the brothers in here. You can't credit LAUSD. Guess what? You know what made me smart? The Bible. Guess what? The Bible made me an Egyptologist. You might be like, what? The Bible ain't make you no Egyptologist. Yes, it did, because I had to go into the study of Egypt to prove you wrong. Prove to me Israel was in Egypt. Well, damn, now I got to pull out the Elephantine papyrus. I got to pull out all of this. I got to pull out the Merneptah Stela. I got to pull out all this. I became an archaeologist and an Egyptologist all in one city. Do you see how powerful the Bible is? That is power. You can study only the Bible and you could go and guess what? If I wanted to, if I focused in, I could be a history professor. Because that's what we are right now. Right now, me and this brother can go to a historical. We can go to what's some of the best colleges? Howard. Yeah. We can go to Howard right now. Matter of fact, right, true story. What happened when we was in that history class, and I asked the teacher, our history teacher, about the season 70 AD. She didn't know about it. She didn't even know about the history. I'm like, how you a history teacher and you don't know about this history? Because she was trying to say that I think it was an Africana studies class. She was trying to shit on the Bible. And I was like, well, how do you know these people don't exist when we got records? Well, what records you got that the people exist? They're the make-believe people. Well, you can go back just to the season 70 AD. I ain't never heard of that. How you ain't never heard of that? And I'm learning your class. Matter of fact, let me teach the class. You understand? You become a scholar just off of the study. And that's why some of the greatest minds, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Essenes, the scribes, the Zealots, the Mizrahites, those were some of the brilliant minds. Those were your professors at that time. Why? And guess who your professors now? Some little niggas on Fig and El Sagano just became professors. How the hell these niggas know that? What other book can do that? In one book, I just became all of those professions in one book. Give me another book that can do that. I'll wait. That's why the scriptures say knowledge, wisdom, and what? See that? The stability of that time. This book is different than any book on the face of the planet. Okay? So when you're a reader, you got to be skillful. So let's read that one more time.
From the top?
Yeah.
From the top. Whereas many and great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets and by others that had followed their steps, for the which things Israel ought to be commended for the learning and wisdom,
right?
And whereof not only the readers must need become skillful themselves, but also they that desire to learn be able to profit them which are without.
You cannot understand the Bible unless you're ready to learn. Read.
Both by speaking and writing.
By speaking and writing. So the writers, they had to be intelligent to translate it, and the readers got to be intelligent to read it. That's why Christianity, you be like, Christians are some of the dumbest people in the world, but they hold the Bible. But that's how they don't understand it. They don't know what the hell they reading. No disrespect. Your Aunt Boo Boo, your Grandma Gigi, they don't know what the hell they reading. Read.
My grandfather Jesus, when he had much given himself to reading of the law and the prophets and other books of our fathers, and had gotten therein good judgment.
You see that? They read the prophets, the law, and the other books of our fathers, right? And then you got good judgment. The Bible was going to make you smart. Read.
Was drawn on also himself to write something pertaining to the learning and wisdom.
Why are you reading the white man's book? It's dumbing you down. It's keeping you trapped. How? My mind is elevated. I'm in all type of archaeology. I'm in all type of different civilizations. My mind is more elevated than ever. How was the Bible keeping my mind trapped? Kid you not. I never knew none of the stuff that I knew. All praise to the spirit of the Mashiach. I never knew none of this stuff. And brothers, y'all can say, I don't know, some of you brothers might have been geniuses before. I don't know. I know for me, I didn't know none of this until I started reading the Bible.
I didn't even know the history before 1619. Like real talk. I didn't know no history before 1619. That's real talk. I thought my history began in 1619. Subconsciously, I knew, but I was just like, all I know is 1619. That's where it begins.
Powerful knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Watch this. Read.
To the intent
It's
that,
about to get good, y'all. Watch this. Read.
to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things.
It said those that are desirous to learn and addicted to these things. So what is he telling you you have to be in order to understand and love and know the Bible? You got to be an addict. You got to be a nerd.
Joshua 1:8.
Yeah. Man, you always reading, man. I know I can't get enough of it. I gotta studying. Right, read.
Might profit much more in living according to the law. Wherefore, let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention.
You gotta read it with favor and attention because the Bible is not an easy book to read. This is why you get a lot of different ideologies and a lot of different doctrines because the Bible is not an easy book to read. The Bible is a hard book. I'm going to give you an example. I always use this as an example. Let me give you one example. Red, ruddy, and blood, right? I always get this out, get this example. Some people might try to tell you, well, David was a white man because the Bible called him ruddy, and ruddy goes back to the word Edom, which Edom goes back to the word blood, which goes back to the word red. And if you're saying the red man is the white man, then they was all white. Adam was white too because Adam, which goes back and translates into the word red as well. So guess what? How are you saying they black? They was white. Now, guess what? You got to become a linguist. You got to say, okay, let me go back and study. So now you got to understand, where did these words originate from in the original Hebrew tongue? You realize, aha, there is no Hebrew word for red. There is no Hebrew word in the sense of when you say ruddy, right? All of those words go back to the word Adam, which goes to blood. And the reason why those words, the translators use the word Dam, right? Adam is Adam's name, right? Which is, he's the blood progenitor. Blood is in his name because he's the blood progenitor of all the world. So then you got the word for blood in the Hebrew is Dam. Right. So that one word Dam, we have that word, which is blood, translated into blood. But why does ruddy and then why does the word red all coincide with that word Dam? And what were the translators trying to tell you? Well, the translators were telling you different things in the context of all those different words in the English. I'm gonna give you an example. With Adam, it's literally attached to the word Dam, which means it's literally attached to the word blood. With ruddy, it's attached to the word blood, but it's attached to a beautiful continent. So when you see somebody with a glowing, radiant countenance, what is it telling you? It's telling you that that person is beautiful because his blood is vibrant. Ruddy. Lati would be considered ruddy. My sister right there. She would be considered ruddy, right? When you got a red undertone, you ever seen somebody with a red undertone or they real beauty? They call them red bones, right? The red Indians, another prime example. Indians, they got that real smooth, reddish, intense skin. You understand what I'm saying? Real smooth and beautiful skin. So why didn't the translators just use the word Dam when it was explaining David to be ruddy and beautiful? Because they were not talking about blood, they were talking about his countenance being beautiful. That's why they used the word ruddy. Okay, so why was Edom called Edom then? Get it? Edom, because the blood, it didn't say ruddy. Why didn't it just say ruddy there for, if all those words essentially are the same thing, why just didn't say ruddy there for Edom? because it wasn't saying that it was beautiful. It was saying that you could see literally the blood in his skin. Like if you slap him, you can literally see the blood. It ain't a beautiful countenance. You could just see the blood in his skin. So that's why, and then with Adam, it was because he's the blood progenitor. But if you don't understand why the translators had to say, okay, for here, we got to use this word. For here, we got to use this word. For here, we got to use this word. And we're translated all the way back to Dom. But we use those different words to articulate different points of view in the different explanations of the scriptures. So now you got to go into that. So now you just got that much smarter by going into all that. So now I'm saying, no, you like, brother, it's not saying that Adam was white. It's just saying he was the blood progenitor of the whole world. It's not saying that David was white. It's saying he was of a beautiful countenance. And with Esau, it ain't even saying that he's white. It's just saying that his skin is transparent and you can see the blood running through his veins. That's why you see them pink and blue veins. I forgot what they call it. Varicose veins. You ever seen an Edomite blue and shit? You understand? Because you can literally see his blood. So that's why. See, and then you just got that much. So you just became a linguist right then and there. You see what I'm saying? The Bible just made you smarter, right? So now, so let's go from there. Let's keep reading that.
Wherefore, let me entreat you to read it with favor and intention, and to pardon us, wherein we may seem to come short of some words.
So sometimes you got to read it with, because guess what? The Bible is even telling you a lot of things as far as the translation, you might have translation errors. So you got to go back and you got to really read it. Like, I'm going to give you an example. A lot of people try to talk bad, and we're going to go into this, talk bad about the Mashiach, because they try to say, well, look, Jesus Christ on Passover, when you go into that word bread, in that context in the Greek, it goes back to leaven. So how was Christ eating at the Passover and he was eating leavened bread? He broke Passover. That's what the non-Messianists would say. Christ broke Passover. See, Christ broke Passover. Well, that's why the translator said you got to read it with attention, because sometimes we have translation errors. I'm going to give you an example. You got to go precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. So a smart person would say, well, no, that can't be true, because historically, if you go back into the law, all of the leaven will be thrown out the city. So where would Christ get leaven from?
You know.
You see what I'm saying? But that's why I said you have to read it with attention. Because somebody can pull that out and then somebody can say, dang, that make a good point. Wow. No, you got to go study. Well, no. I know I study the scriptures. I know the precepts. That wouldn't logically make any sense if all of the leaven is thrown out the city. So you telling me all of the leaven thrown out the city and Christ got this one little leaven? It makes no sense. You understand? So this is how you become scholars. Scholars. Everybody say scholar. This is why I said y'all got to take notes, because you ain't remembering all of this. You understand? You got to go back and you got to research it. Study it for yourself and tell me what you find. Sisters too. I got to be scholars of the word too, right? So let's keep reading.
Which we have labored to interpret.
Right, because it's a labor to interpret. This is what we're about to read next. The next chapter we're about to read in this same chapter is going to talk about what I just explained with the red, ruddy, and blood. Read.
For the same thing uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them.
Exactly. Hebrew words and other language don't have the same force, and they would say it's a weaker language. So it might not have the same exact hit that the Hebrew have. You get what I'm saying? So you got to study. You got to figure out. All right. So on your own time, read all of that. It goes into how hard it is to translate and how they had to really work, right? Read that whole thing on your own. Let's go from there. All right. And let's go to 1 Maccabees 1:56. Hold on, y'all. Hold on to your seats right now, because we about to get into some prophecy. Okay. Please. I want to prove this to you. 1 Maccabees 1:56.
It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 56. Mm-hmm. And when they had rent in pieces the book of the law, which they found, they burned them with fire.
Now, on top of that, you know how hard, imagine how hard it is to translate the Bible, and then somebody come and then burn it up. And then guess what? You got to do it again. why did the other nations fight so hard? This is when the Greeks burnt up our records. Said they burnt it. Not only did they burn it, somebody trying to they trying to stop something. They like, man, this is some spiritual power type stuff. They're like, man, every time we destroy it, it always come back. So you know what? This time we're gonna rip it up into pieces and we're gonna burn it. They said it wasn't enough just to burn it. They said we gotta rip it up in pieces and burn it. That's how hard they fought to try to keep this word from getting out. Read
verse 57. And wheresoever was found with any of the book of the Testament,
the time of the Greeks. So at this time, if Lashi was found with that Bible, they was killing you and your kids. And that happened 2 times. That happened also in the time of the Romans too, during the Byzantine Empire. If you had a Bible, they was killing you. You know, back in the times in the 1600s, King James. Oh man, they was mad when King James translated the 1611 Bible. Y'all know that, right? Y'all know they tried to kill him on a number of times. Yeah, go watch that movie if y'all ain't seen it. V for Vendetta is a great movie, actually. It's about the gunpowder plot. Guy Fawkes was hired by the Queen, the Catholic Church, and the Queen. I forgot what queen that was, but just type in Guy Fawkes or the gunpowder plot. Right? They hired him to blow up King James, but it didn't go through. They tried to kill King James. Now, if King James was the most, he was a white man, he was this, why the hell they try to kill him? You know, Esau don't try to kill nobody that's for his turn. Tried to assassinate him. All right? So it's the same thing that they did here. Read.
Whatsoever was found with any of the book of the Testament, or in any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should be put to death.
Mm-hmm. The king's commandment was for them to be put to death. So imagine you had a Bible and you was about to be put to death because you had the word of God. Don't get it twisted. It's coming. They're going to try to outlaw this word. It is coming. Right? But what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to stand strong and we're going to have to keep these words. All right? So people tried to destroy it. Let's go to Psalms 83. Watch this. So not only was it successfully translated through the ages, but it was successfully translated even with people trying to destroy it. Now, goddamn, what other book in history did they work so hard to try to destroy outside of the Bible? I'll wait. What other book in history can you pull up and show me that they tried to destroy more than the Bible? I'll wait. There's not one book on the earth that has been destroyed and rewritten so many times. The Bible is the most translated book in the world in almost every single language. You know how many languages it is in the world? You got a question? The Protestant church took it out. The Protestants, which would be your Protestants, which would be your Christians, right? So you had the Catholics, and then you had your Protestants, or your Protestants, or Protestants, whatever you want to call them, under Martin Luther, and they deemed it non-canonical. Now, it varies reason why they said because then it had nothing to do with the gospel and all of that, but really they took it out because you know what is talked about in the Apocrypha? The Gentiles being killed, and the Greeks. The Greeks is talked about in here. Now, I know in history, they tell us that Alexander the Great was a great man, right? And the Bible will tell you he was a sick man. He was a homosexual that, died of syphilis, right? Yeah. Alexander the homosexual. Right. He was a damn flaming faggot. Like Iran like to say, flaming faggot. You gotta be, and when you a flaming faggot, not just the faggot, he a flaming faggot. You understand? Yeah. So also, it talks about Cleopatra in here. I know that. It talks about Cleopatra in here. All that. So remember, they want you to disconnect from history of the Bible. They want you to believe this is a make-believe book. If I start pulling out Cleopatra and Alexander the Great, I'm like, hold on, it ain't no make-believe book. This is talking about real history. They want you to think this is a book of just make-believe stories. That's why did certain things, and that's why they don't really talk about the. You notice they don't never talk about the history of the Bible. They always talk about the stories that have you scratching your head, like Jonah and the whale. Why is that? They don't never talk about the history. They always want to talk about Jonah and the whale and stuff like that because they don't want you to believe that it's any. They want you to believe, oh, it's just a book of stories. No, it's a book of history. But if you find out it's a book of history, you're gonna read it with a different lens. So you ain't gonna read it with just a religious background. You're gonna read it as a historical background. That's why I always tell people you cannot read the Bible, right, and expect to understand it with a 21st century Christian mind. You will be confused every time. You understand? Because we just read it. It's a work. You got to really read it with understanding. But did that answer your question, Lati? Lati, that answer your question? Okay. So the Protestants took it out. Okay, after they broke away from the Catholic Church. Okay. So let's go. What did I say?
Psalms 83.
Yeah, Psalms 83 and 1.
Verse 1. Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God.
There is a conspiracy, guys. Y'all know what a conspiracy is? Conspiracy is a plot, a secret plot. What is the conspiracy? Read.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
A tumult means they come together and derive a plan. And what is their plan? What is their whole goal and objective? I'm gonna show y'all something. We're gonna parallel, right? Read.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Why didn't they let us read the Bible in slavery? The white man used the Bible to enslave us. Then why he didn't want us to read it?
Even in church, somebody has to be sitting like overseer will be in there so we can not tell the truth.
Exactly. Why did they have to monitor us when we did read it? Because it seemed like you idiots out there that say that dumb stuff don't understand that the Bible is a black liberation book. Nat Turner started this revolution. One of the greatest revolutions on American soil was created and started by Nat Turner by using what? I said it last time. They called Harriet Tubman what? Why did they call her Moses? Her nickname was Moses because she freed the slaves. And you know what she used to do? She used to say God is telling her where to go. And it was, what star did she follow? Was it the North Star? Yeah. She followed the North Star. Isn't that the same star? I could be wrong. Jesus, that's the North Star, ain't it? Didn't Christ?
That was the Easter
Star. Oh, that was Easter Star. Okay, that was Easter Star. But still, the correlation is the stars. She used the stars as navigation. Yeah, the scriptures tell you that. Watch this. Not only that, but she said the Most High God will literally tell her where to go. Did not Moses have that same ability? So when you tell me that the Bible was written, you cannot, after watching this video, shut your damn mouth. The Bible was not written by a white man. The Bible was written by intelligent individuals with the spirit of the power that was given to us to liberate us. And it's going to be used to liberate us. And they did not want us to read it. Read.
Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent that are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom and of Ishmaelites and Moab.
That's it. So all the nations were confederate. Now let's go to Joel 3. You're almost done, y'all. I'm gonna get to this part. This is the part I want to get to. Actually, write down Joel chapter 3, verses 4 and 5. It talks about them taking our goodly and our pleasant things, right? Them taking our artifacts and putting it into their temples and taking our stuff, just like they did with the Aleppo Codex, right? And the Leningrad Codex, and they got all of that history and they got it stored in a vault. I remember the Dead Sea Scrolls. I don't know if it was a real authentic one, but I remember they had a big thing in Hollywood, in West Hollywood, where they had the Dead Sea Scrolls out here for a little bit. I know it was fake, but they had it. They said they had it out here, and you can come see it and all that. But I know it was fake because they ain't about to bring the real Dead Sea Scrolls out. People trying to fight for that right now. It's literally like the Book of Eli. Literally. You understand? So write that down, and let's go to Write down 2nd Ezra 14. All right, 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 38, all the way through to verse 48. And that talks about how Ezra, through the spirit of the Mashiach, rewrote a lot of what was lost, that was destroyed. The Most High put it on his spirit, and he didn't write it, but he was speaking it, and his translators wrote it. All right, or his scribes wrote it. Okay, so the Bible always comes. So now this is where it gets to the good part that I want you guys to really understand and pay attention. The key thing that we have that no other book has, and somebody said it earlier, is prophecy. No other book in the world has prophecy. Not the Quran. If you talk to a Muslim and he tell you the Quran got prophecy in it, you tell him to show you one. You know what he'll say? He'll say, in the future, men will fight. Wow, you're deep. In the future, men will fight. In the future, people will die. It's not a prophecy. People die. We know people gonna die. I need to know when, where, how, what, who, in a specific location. That's what the Bible talks about. Go ahead. Strategic and detailed. Fish being washed up on the sea. It's the signs in the heavens. I mean, people seeing chariots now, or UFOs, whatever you want to call them. Like every day, it ain't even no big thing no more. You be like, oh dang, that's a chariot. You know that's crazy. I remember when ain't nobody did know it. Now people really seeing wonders in the skies. You can type in on YouTube bright balls of fire in the sky, and you're gonna see it all over the world. Mexico, Europe, LA. I don't know no asteroid that can stop in midair and go a different direction. That's a hell of an asteroid. They tried to say rockets too. How the hell a rocket stop in midair and then go that way and break into two different things? Come on. Or the famous one. Go on my Facebook. I posted it when they was in the Middle East shooting at it.
Yeah.
Man, they was trying to bust at it like boop, 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 boop. I'll show you after class. If I wish I had it on, they was trying to shoot at the chariot. Boop, boop. Nothing. It was just, and that was really you can hear them. You know what that mean? That mean they be ready to kill something. You know, Ishmael is a wild man. And look at he pop, 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 pop. I'm like, Ishmael crazy. I wouldn't be shooting at that shit. I'd have told my homies like, bro, we're shooting at it and it ain't falling, bro. Let's stop shooting at it for it to throw something back. Because if our bullets ain't hurting it, then what the hell can it throw back? No. It was like the bullet. And these are not small, like little bullets. These are them bullets. You know them bullets that be like this big that they shoot? You can hear boop, 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 boop. You know those bullets. The bullet that'll hit you and blow your head off. Them bullets. We ain't talking about them little bullets. We ain't even talking about AK bullets. We talking about them real bullets that shoot heavy machinery. The bullet is like this big, kid you not. It hit Calvert in the head, his head gonna explode. Them bullets they were shooting at it. Missiles, rockets. You can see the explosions in there. I'll show you after class. It's on my Facebook. It's beginning to not even be, and then it was one that I like that went down over Jerusalem, and then it did like a bright flash and shot up. We're seeing signs in the heavens now. Like almost every day. Almost it's new sightings everywhere. You understand? So the Bible said that would happen, didn't it? And it's happening. That prophecy, watch this. Now, from the time period that we got in the truth, 2011, it was rare. Even in that time, to see a Hebrew, it was like, damn, a Hebrew. Like, you see a Hebrews everywhere now. We seen one yesterday. You seen one yesterday? You seen one yesterday? And I seen one yesterday. And when we went to the beach, we seen one. You just seeing Hebrews everywhere now. The awakening is happening. And now, if you go back to our elders that was doing this truth in the 90s, It was rare to see an Israelite, like rare to like, really see Israelites out like that. Man, everybody knowing the Most High even touching these rappers to put it out there now. The Kendricks and the Ice Cubes, this word getting out. Most High said every ear's gonna hear. Athletes, come on. You don't know what he's talking about, but he made a song. You know what I'm saying? He needs to get some knowledge and read the Bible, and then he'll be right. So now let's go to Isaiah 48:5. Prophecy. So, guys, prophecy is your best friend. Prophecy mixed with how the translation was handed down from time period to time period. Even when they tried to destroy it, I'm gonna show y'all something.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 5.
Look what the Most High said, and look what the Bible said. Look what he said. Read.
Have even from the beginning declared it to thee.
He said, I said this from the beginning. I declared this. He said from the beginning. Now watch why the Most High said he had to use prophecy. The Most High is funny, kind of. Listen what he said. Read.
Before it came to pass, I showed it to thee, least thou shouldest say.
He said, man, I had to do something that was out of the normal for y'all, because if I didn't do it, y'all would have said this. Read.
My idol has done them.
My idol did it. So God had to do something that your idol could never do. God had to do something that nobody in the world can do. And you know what that is? Prophecy. Telling the future. Nobody can. Who can tell the future? What book can tell the future? If you find me one, I want it. But I already got it. Understand? Who don't want a book that tell the future? The Bible tells the future. The Most High said I had to make it like that, because if I didn't, y'all would have believed that y'all idols did it. Read.
My idols have done them, and my graven image and my molten image have commanded them. Mm-hmm. Thou hast heard, see all this, and will not ye declare it. I have showed thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them.
He said, now watch what the Most High did. I'm going to show you an example of that in the scriptures. He said, I'm showing you hidden things that you don't know. I'm showing you things that only I can give you the understanding to understand. So now let's take a trip and let's see some of those things that have come to pass. Now let's read Luke 21. What's this?
The book of Luke, chapter 21.
Now, before we, let's read that. What's this?
The book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 20. And when
now this is a prophecy. This is a prophecy. Read.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Now, it says when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies. When was Jerusalem compassed with armies? 70 AD. Well, but wait. Christ said this way before 70 AD. These words go back way before 70 AD. But he said when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, but he's going to give you some detail. Read.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. Wait,
he said, now once Jerusalem is compassed with armies, right? Watch this. This time I'm gonna show y'all how the Bible get. It says one, because you can take these couple verses right here, and you can study extensively on a particular time period of history. It said that Jerusalem will be compassed with armies. What did they do in the siege of 70 AD? They camped around Jerusalem, and they kept food and water from getting into the city. So in 70 AD, Jerusalem was compassed with armies. But then what else did they do? Once they close the door, babies. Once they starved us out, right? What did they do? They destroyed it. And where did we go after? We left out of Jerusalem. We went to the mountains. We fled, right? Watch this, read. Or fled, excuse me.
Verse 22, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Now, this is a prophecy right here. That little thing, that example I gave you with what the Quran tried to do, that ain't prophecy. This is prophecy. It told you when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, when they flee out of the city, it's giving you detail. When they flee out of the city, right? Says then it may be fulfilled, read.
But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people.
Now, if you go and you read the history of what happened in 70 AD, man, women was killing their children and eating their kids. Women was eating the leather off their bootstraps, and men was eating the leather off their boots. It was bad. The siege of 70 AD was horrible. But exactly what Yahweh Shai said to the T happened. But watch what else he said, read.
Verse 24, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword,
They said they shall fall by the edge of the sword, read.
and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, and until the time of the Gentiles shall be fulfilled.
Wait, it said Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles. Who are the Gentiles? That is speaking of in this context. The heathens. So basically he said that the heathens will be in Jerusalem. Who's been in Jerusalem ever since we left in 70 AD? The heathen. The Bible just told you. That is prophecy. It said that you're going to get kicked out of Jerusalem, and then heathens going to be in Jerusalem, and they're going to be there until the time of the Gentiles are fulfilled. Is the time of the Gentiles fulfilled? No, because who's still ruling? The Gentiles. That's prophecy. That is prophecy. What other book can do that? Right now, I can go, and this is talking about the siege of 70 AD. Right now, I can go extensively in history just reading these. That's why you can never learn all of the Bible. I ain't even touched the rest of the chapter. I could just read 20 all the way to 24 or all the way to 25, and I can read all about 70 AD and go into that history. And now all of a sudden, I got a precept that shows it, and I got it fulfilled in history. What other book can do that? There's no other book on the face of the planet.
And this is why the fake Jews feel like they're going to go into slavery. They have to believe it. They're going to go into slavery for the prophecies to fit. They feel like right now, a nation is going to put them in slavery, and Yahweh Shai going to come back and deliver them. That's what they believe. They have to believe it, because right now, according to the prophecies, heathens is going to be in the land of Jerusalem before Yahweh Shai come back and deliver the real people. They believe that they have to go into slavery again, only to fit properly, but they know that's garbage.
It's garbage. Because here's the thing, you would have to ask a fake Jew. Okay, the siege of 70 AD. From the siege of 70 AD until the time of the Gentiles, Israel's not supposed to be in their land. So how the hell are you an Israelite? How are you the real Jew? Exactly. The real Jews is not supposed to be there right now. Why the heck you think we ain't going back? We ain't there. The Gentiles supposed to be there right now. So fake Jews, if you really align with the prophecies of the scriptures, why are your people in Jerusalem? Y'all supposed to still be in Germany or wherever the hell y'all came from. So wait, that puts a red flag. You know they got a term for it. I forgot what politically correct term they like to use, but they got a term for people like, oh, you're a prophet something. Like they call it something to distinguish. Oh, you're just a prophet. Oh, you believe the prophets are literal. Huh? Yeah, they're literal. You're not supposed to be. And watch this. It not only that, but it said that as a whole nation, we going back into Israel. Y'all went as a half of a nation. Where's the tribe of Gad at? Where's Reuben at? Where's Manasseh? If they're still lost, how the hell y'all only claiming one tribe and y'all in Israel? Y'all supposed to be lost with them.
Yeah, they so damn dumb. They so stupid. They automatically just say they from the tribe of Judah. They all from the tribe of Judah. So everybody in Israel right now from the tribe of Judah. You don't got no Levites. You don't got no Benjamites. You don't got nobody but the tribe of Judah. Just stupid. It just don't make no sense.
Unless you want to get technical and try to say, whoa, Benjamin and half of Levi. But even still, it said the whole nation. Matter of fact, it said our Savior was supposed to deliver us out of the hands of our enemies. So America's your Savior? Because the Balfour Declaration, was in the 1940s, they was the ones who said you can go there, not God. Said that God was going to deliver. So right then and there, prophecy is not fulfilled yet. That lets you know that they don't fit prophecy, which means that they cannot. Oh, you want to say the Jews is like, oh, here you go. Well, okay, forget that. I don't even got to go that route. The Jewish community don't fit none of the biblical prophecies. So they cannot be the real Jews of the Bible. Are you going to go to Deuteronomy 28? No, I'm going to go to Luke. You know, when they try to get smart, I know all about y'all. Y'all like to go to Deuteronomy 28. No, I'm going to go to Luke 21 and 20. It said that y'all supposed to be kicked out after the siege of 70 AD and not return. So how the hell are they in Jerusalem right now? Makes no sense. Prophecy. See, that's why now you put the dots together. Okay. Well, dang. Now let's get some more prophecy. Now let's go to Revelation 6:1. Watch this, y'all. Now, before we get that, let me tell y'all how to read the Bible. Isaiah 28:10. Let's go there first. We almost finished, y'all. This is the final prophecy.
Isaiah chapter 28, verse 10. For precept must be upon precept, line upon line upon line. Here a little and there a little.
So the way you read the Bible is you can read it like a story, or you can't read it like that, but the way you get understanding is precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little. Because the way the Bible works, the Bible's the only book that answers itself. If you got a question about the Bible, where you got to go to get the answer in the Bible. So that's the only way. You're like, man, I don't understand what that is. You got to find a precept to give you the understanding of what, that precept means. So we're going to do that. I'm going to show you guys how to do that, and I'm going to teach you guys how to correlate prophecy together. I'm going to show you guys how to read prophecy and how to use the precepts to do it. And we're going to tie it in with history, because prophecy is what? History foretold. And then the fulfillment of prophecy is history. It's in together. Exactly. So it's all just history. Prophecy is history foretold before it happened. History is prophecy that happened, or in this case, prophecy that happened. So now let's get this. So you got to read line upon line, here a little, there a little. Let's get a prophecy. Let's get Revelation 6:1.
Book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 1. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, "Come and see."
Right. So now okay, keep reading.
And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering to conquer.
Now, somebody might read this. Back in the day, we used to read Revelations. Oh, Revelations is scary to read. They got beasts that's gonna come out the water. God's gonna unleash the water. I used to think that in the church. God was gonna unleash the water, and all these beasts with 7 heads was gonna come out and start smashing cities. It's like, dang, that's what we thought. Was I the only one that thought that in the church? We all thought that, right? Ooh, I ain't ready to read Revelations. It's scary. The dragons is gonna come and eat us. You understand what I'm saying? We'll talk about that later. But in this context, in Revelations, the dragon with all the 7 heads and the 10, it was scary. Now, through the prophecies, let's see what this is talking about. Through the prophecies and through the precepts. All right. So now let's go from there, and let's go to to conquer and conquering and to conquer. So who was one of the main conquerors? Because this is a time period. This is dealing with the 7 seals. The 7 seals being opened. This is a prophecy. It says that there will be a time period. The 7 seals is just when the time period happens, right? It's how you can look at it just so you can understand. So there was a time where conquering was happening. What was that time? Who was the main conqueror? Well, let's get that. Let's get Genesis 27. Let's get this prophecy. And in this go, all of you brothers that, Esau's not the white man. Well, this is going to shatter all of that. And it's going to be prophecy. Watch this. So we just read that there's going to be a time period of conquering and to conquer, right? Now we're going to read who is the number one and the best conqueror. Who's the best hunter? One of the best hunters in the Bible. Esau. Let's read. Watch this. Read.
Which one you want? 40?
Read 39.
39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Read verse 38. Okay.
38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father?
Now,
bless me.
This right here correlates. I want y'all to watch this. This right here correlates with what we just read in Revelations, because this is a specific prophecy dealing. If you read it in conjunction with the precepts, you can read that Revelation 6 and you know that it's talking about Esau. I'm going to show you how you know it's talking about Esau, because it says, and power was given for that horse to unleash the stage in history of conquering. Well, who conquered everybody? So-called white man. But who was prophesied to conquer everybody? Esau. Esau was prophesied to conquer. And what physical nation conquered everybody? Watch this. Read.
Bless me, even also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
This is the prophecy. Read.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Who has the best lands right now? Who owns everything right now? Who got garrisons in every country right now? Esau.
Whose name is in the United Nations.
Best military, all of that. The Arabs? No. Negative. They're Esau. They're Esau. No, the Arabs is Esau, brother. Well, not according to these prophecies, because they don't see. This is what you do. You take the prophecies and you see who fits it, like a puzzle piece. Who fits this prophecy? Watch this. We're gonna see. Don't even make a educated guess right now. Just watch what the prophecy is saying. You're gonna put 2 and 2 together. So, conquering spirit. The time period is a period of conquering. Who did the Most High give the prophecy that he was gonna rise above and conquer? Who? Read.
Fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above.
So what did he say? Esau didn't have all these at first. He had to do what? Conquer. Read verse 40.
And by the sword shalt thou live.
He said, by the sword he will live. What do you use the sword to do? To kill and do what? To conquer. He said, by the sword you're going to live. So who lived by the sword? Esau. Today, who lived by the sword? Who got a better sword than a white man? Stop it. Stop it. Everybody try to talk about, well, everybody got nukes. Who gave him the patent to do it? The white man. That was his gift. He was the one. Now, surely if the white man like, man, okay, I'll show you how to make a nuke. What do you think he got? Who created nuclear weaponry? The white man. Hydrogen bomb and all of that. You know, you got some of them brews online that be like, well, the Most High did it. Okay, we know the Most High do everything, but who did he use? Esau. Because this is his prophecy. Who got a better sword than him? Who changed the way we look at warfare forever? When the Native Americans had a gun. They was giving them problems. But Esau, you know what? They was giving them problems until Esau figured out how to make it shoot faster. Esau said, dude, hey, the Native Americans was giving, but Esau figured out a way. He said, okay, not only am I going to do, I'm going to make it to where it can automatically just, now forget, as fast as you can be like this, you dead, all that. Esau did that. He revolutionized weaponry. When the samurais had swords and stuff, they called it savage weaponry. You know, the samurai sword was a sword of a weapon of dignity, honor. The gun was a savage weapon at them times. That's what started a whole bunch of stuff in China and all of that with the Japanese and the Chinese and all of that. And the samurais, look up that history. The samurais was trying to fight against and keep weapons the same as swords, but then some of the Chinese wanted to get the weapon. That's what happened with what they did in Africa too. They colonized Africa and got a lot of resources from Africa by selling weapons. Who's the best man out of this? Ishmael? Who right now is the best in weaponry? Who fits this puzzle piece? Who fits this prophecy? The white man, ain't nobody else. Right there, we can close the book. The Arab man is not Esau. I mean, it's not Esau, bro. Watch this. Let's keep reading. Read.
And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when
it says, in the sword shall thy live, and it says he shall serve his brother. Read. Watch this.
And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Mm-hmm. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
Now, watch this. It says that Esau would not have power until he break the dominion of his brother's yoke off his neck. And then he's going to have dominion. We always pride ourselves. Esau was this. He even had no power. He didn't have this. But why is it that now, when is he supposed to get power? When was he supposed to break the yoke? Let's get that. Let's get 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Watch this. Y'all following? Everybody understanding? Everybody getting it? 6 and 9.
Second Ezra chapter 6.
When is Esau supposed to break the yoke off his neck and rule? Read.
Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 9.
Mhm.
For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
So when is Esau supposed to rule? The end of the world. What time period we in now? And who's controlling it? The white man. The Arab? Who's controlling the world right now?
I got a question for them dummies, man. When have Arabs have world influence ever? When has anybody ever wanted to be an Arab? What culture do they have that we want to model and follow? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? People take trips to Dubai, that's about it. But they don't want to associate with them. Far from being like them. You know what I'm saying? That's madness, man. They got to stop, cut it out, man. Brothers got to cut it out, man.
Stop trying to save your oppressor.
Stop trying to save your oppressor. Discipline yourself to the scriptures. It's okay. Esau is going to get eradicated off the earth, man. Thus saith the Lord.
God, oh praises, man. You're gonna get destroyed, man. But you see, this is prophecy. So who fits this? Now we're gonna get even more deeper in it. Now let's go to Revelations 13 and 1. This book is the only book. Let me do this. Yeah, what's up? Nope, the only people that can understand the Bible is Israel. That's why so many remember we read that in Daniel? He said he put a seal on the book. That's why so many people can have it, but they don't understand it. Why Christians ain't never brought this out to us? They know their judgment. They do. They know, a lot of them know who they are. Yeah. But they hide it. They try to tell you. Because matter of fact, that doctrine that Esau is the Arabs come from Esau. Y'all know that, right? That doctrine come from Christianity. Yeah. TBN, that Christian network. You can, if you type in on YouTube right now, that's a Christian doctrine. Oh yeah, the Esau is the Arabs and all of the terrorists. That's Esau. That's what they say. Yeah.
It comes from that.
So you damn Hebrews, y'all listening to a white man doctrine. Because he know he don't want to be Esau. He like, I gotta run from this judgment. Go ahead.
Yeah, they did already. They don't exist.
Well, second Ezra 6 and 9 would be none and void then, because who's supposed to be running in the end? Obadiah 1 and 4. Good. Esau supposed to have control right now. We about to cut him even further. Let's read this. Revelation 13 and 1.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Now it says 7 heads and 10 horns. Is this literally a beast that's going to come out of the ocean with 7 heads and 10 horns? Give me a precept. Give me a precept. Remember, it says through thy precept we get understanding, right? We got to read the line upon line here a little, there a little. Prove to me this is not a literal beast through a precept. Don't ask me, is it? Show me. Where the precept at?
Ecclesiastes 3:18. Ecclesiastes 3:18.
Bring it out. What you got?
It says, I said in my heart concerning the estate of the Son of Man that God might manifest them and that they might see that they themselves are beasts.
That's a good one,
Yeah.
but it's another one I want. That's a good one though. That'll be one you will bring out after you bring out the one I want. That's a good one though. Who got it? Who got it? Nobody? All right, Daniel. 7:17. Yeah. Read it. Let's bring that out.
You got it out? Yeah, read it out. Bring it out.
Yeah, bring it out.
Chapter 7, verse 17. These great beasts, which are four kings.
Right. The beast represent who? Kings. Kingdom. And the reason why I say that will be a precept, Calvert, is because we're dealing with kingdoms. Even though it's men, they are men, but we're dealing with kingdoms. So when you read about the beast, that's why I don't believe the Bible. They're talking about dragons gonna come out the water. You don't understand it. It's not talking about literal dragons. It's an analogy because the Bible was written for you not to understand it. So he wrote it like that, so you would read it like, I don't get it, and close it. Because he said, I speak, what did Yahweh Shai say? I speak unto parables to what? to purposely confuse you. And only those that are called can understand it. So now we understand that the beast is who? Kingdoms. They're kingdoms. Was that all of that, Lord?
We shall rise out of the earth.
Mm-hmm. We shall ride out of the earth. So who are these beasts? Kingdoms. So now let's get Revelations 12 and let's read verse 3.
Verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great dragon, red dragon.
Now, who in the Bible, you can only see this in two places in the Bible. What other place was something described red?
Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Red,
Lord.
I'm talking about in context of what we talking about with nations and kingdoms. It's only one place. Who? Esau. Why is it a red dragon? Because it's letting you know it's talking about somebody. It's talking about somebody. It said a red dragon. He didn't say a black dragon. He said the red dragon. Why was he red? And then what did this red dragon do? Read.
Red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered.
Now, who are the 12 stars? Let's get that precept. Let's get Genesis 3. No, 37 and 9.
Genesis chapter 37.
So what was, now mind you, what did we just read? We just read in Genesis 27 that one day he's going to break the dominion off of whose neck? Off of his neck and have power over who?
His brother.
Over his brother. And we just read this in Revelations and it said what? The dragon's going to have dominion over the 12 stars.
Bring it up.
So what is he saying? He's telling you what he told Esau in a parable. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Understand? That's how the Bible's written. So really, Revelations 12 is just a prophecy fulfilled with what was told to Esau in Genesis. Let's keep reading. Watch this. Let's see who the stars are.
Genesis chapter 37, verse 9. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brothers, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me.
Why did it say he dreamed another dream and told his brethren and said, Behold, I dreamed more dream, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me? Why did he say the sun and the moon and the 11 stars? We're going to read.
And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that thou shalt dream? Shall I and my mother
Abraham? I mean, excuse me,
Salaki and thy mother.
Jacob, right? So wait, Jacob was the son, the moon was the mother, right? How? Because what's the greatest light? The sun is the greater light, and the moon is the lesser light. Who's the head? The man. And who's the next in charge as a lesser vessel? The woman. And then it said the 11 stars. Why did it say 11 stars? His sons. Why was it missing a star? Because Joseph is one of those stars. Said 11 stars made obeisance to me. And did this prophecy happen? Yeah, when they went in Egypt. Who did they bow down to? Joseph. That was his dream. But that dream, this is how the Bible was so cold. That dream is a double, is it a double entendre?
Yeah, double meaning.
It's a double meaning. Because now it also means this. Who are the stars in Revelation 12? Children of Israel. And the 12 tribes of Israel, which are those stars? You get understanding by what? By precepts. The Bible is a secret. You got to study it. You got to diligence. This is a cold book. It's like a movie and only the chosen ones can understand it. You know what I'm saying? For real. So now we see here Esau, right? What does it mean? And it says he has 7 heads and 10 horns. What kingdoms? Did Esau have 7 kingdoms? Lob like. Oh, all right, I got him. Who are the 7 kingdoms of the white man? Yes. All crazy.
Hey, brothers, y'all might want to write that down, man. We give it to him one more time.
Y'all better take notes, man. We gonna test on it.
Hey,
Give
man,
it to him one more
y'all,
time.
y'all gotta learn this stuff, man.
Greece, Rome, Russia, France, Germany, Great Britain, Spain.
So wait, 7 kingdoms. Who has 7 kingdoms? That fit. That fit the white man. He has 7 kingdoms. And what are the 10 horns? The EEC, European Economic Communities. Look those up. Belgium, France, the EEC. 7 heads and 10 horns.
The smaller nations.
The smaller nations of Esau. Bulgaria,
Switzerland, Croatia,
Luxembourg. So it's telling you all the nations of Edom. Prophecy. Now, isn't this in Revelations? Isn't Revelations the end time prophecy? And who did it say will be ruling? Esau in the end times. Who was this dragon? Esau, according to the prophecy, because Esau got to be ruling because this dragon is ruling clearly, right? And who's ruling right now? The Arabs? The white man. Do y'all see prophecy? No other book in the world can do this. We just figured out who the white man is, and he's the devil according to the Bible. Because what did the Bible call it? The dragon? Devil. Serpent, but
I laugh because like people always argue, how can the white man have written this and this is what it said? He wouldn't write his own
Destruction.
like that. He wouldn't kill himself. He wouldn't hang
close that door.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So,
He too prideful of a
yeah,
bastard to
it
hang
makes-
himself.
It makes no sense for the white man to have written this.
Khan. Why would he write down his whole demise? His whole plan. Now watch this. Let's go to EEC, European Economic Communities. All right. So now let's get a couple more. Now watch this. Revelations 20 and 2. Now watch this one, y'all.
Look at Revelation chapter 20, verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan.
Now, when we say the white man's the devil, are we wrong for saying that? No, because who's the dragon? The white man, according to the prophecy. So when we say he's the devil, you can't lay that white man the devil. The Bible called him the devil. He the dragon. Let's prove it. Watch this. So it says Satan and that dragon. It says what, read?
And bound him 1,000 years.
It says he shall be bound for 1,000 years, read.
And cast him into the bottomless pit. And shut him up. And set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years shall be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season.
Now, when was the white man in power and then fell out of power for 1,000 years and then came back into power? Prophecy. Wait, now this is going to trip y'all out because watch this. It said that he will be taken down. So he came into power. The first time the white man, write this down, brothers. The first time the white man ever came into power was in 333 BC. The Greeks used to be I'm butchering this word, but I can for sure give it to y'all after class, and I can after class too for brothers online that want this. The original, one of the terms of the ancient Greeks, which is the Messenians or Messenians. I'll put it in the comment section. Y'all can go look up the original Greeks, but the original Greeks were people of color. The Edomites, right, didn't take over Greece until 333 under Alexander the Greek. All right, which was a Macedonian. It was from Macedonia. So 333 BC is when the white man first took over the world. That's the first time. So that was fulfilled in Genesis 27 when Isaac told him, excuse me, when Isaac told him that he would have dominion, right? So he first got dominion in 333, but after that, then he had dominion in Rome, and then after that, what happened? Who took him down? Write this down. Write the Berbers. Yes. Write down Hannibal. Hannibal. Right. I'm gonna read some history for y'all. Now watch this. Now I want y'all to watch this. Hannibal. I'm gonna read about Hannibal. I want y'all to write down the Berbers. Let's read this for y'all. Let's get some history now. Okay, so I want y'all to write down Punic Wars, Hannibal, right? And these particular set of wars that defeated the Romans were called the Punic Wars. Okay, Punic is Punic. Okay, Hannibal was a general, all right, and he defeated the Romans, all right, and the war was the Punic Wars. Now, a Berber is just another word for Moor. Okay, the Moors, right, a member of Northwestern African Muslim people of mixed. So this is the Moors, right? A member of Northwestern Africa. Now, where did the Jews go to? They went to Africa, but where did they go? We're gonna get some history. They went to West Africa and they went to North Africa. So North African, so the Moors, we're gonna prove it to you. The Moors are Jews. The Moors are Jews, Arabs, and African nations all come together, right? So it says, and they were mixed people of the Berber and Arabic descent. In the 8th century, they conquered the Iberian Peninsula, but were finally driven out of the last stronghold in Granada at the end of the 15th century. The Moors lost their power at the end or during the time of the 15th century. So the Moors, when the white man came down, when the Romans came down, the Moors took over. Emperor Constantine, he was a black man. I don't know if y'all know that. I'm not gonna say he was an Israelite man. Some people be like, he was an Israelite, but I'm not gonna say that. But he was a dark-skinned man. He was not a Caucasian man. Constantine in the Byzantine Empire, the reason why the Byzantine Empire is different is because the Byzantine Empire was ruled by people of color. This is where you get where the more, when they talk about the Dark Ages and they say the Moors was ruling Europe and all of that. This was that time, the so-called Dark Ages. From 500 AD all the way to the 15th century. 500 AD to the 15th century is how many years? A what? 1,000 years. And after that period, who came back? Esau came back. Come on, man. Do y'all understand what y'all reading? He said, I'm gonna bound him up. I can't, I'm not that good. I can't make up all the dates and time period. I can't do that. I'm not that good. I can't make this up. 500 AD to the 15th century, that's a total of 1,000 years. That's a 1,000-year period of where we got a break. And who's ruling some stuff? The Jews. Let's read some history on it. That prophecy fulfilled. Let's go to real quick. We almost finished. Let's go to page 109 and from Babylon and Timbuktu 2. And you're gonna 109. And you're gonna read this right here.
Third
so
paragraph.
We just read it in the Bible. 1,000-year period. The dragon will be chained up. Right? 1,000-year period. It said that who will be back and be able to get some rest? The Jews got some. Our people got some rest. The Israelites got some rest. Now let's see that coming into fruition. Because under the Berbers and the Moors, which the Jews was a part of, we're going to read that history. You'll see they had rest and they was royalty for a period of 1,000 years. Read.
At this time, the land of Spain, the black Jews were persecuted and many had fled to Morocco for refuge.
Right. So the black Jews fled to Morocco. Read. Where's Morocco at? North Africa. North Africa. Okay, read.
As a result of this persecution, the Jews of Morocco and the Moors planned to invade Spain.
And the who?
And the
Jews
Moors
and the Moors planned to invade Spain. Read.
With the assistance of Spanish Jews.
Uh-huh.
In the meantime,
or you can call them Sephardic Jews. Okay, read.
In the meantime, the plot was uncovered and the Jews of Spain suffered for the intentions. Mm-hmm. Early in the 8th century, the Mohammedans from Morocco, united with the black Jews, made what we call an amphibious landing at Gibraltar. Uh-huh. The invasions were successful.
All right, you can stop that. So basically what we see is we see what? We see it in history now. We see that the Jews got rest and they had power because they teamed up with who? The Moors. Let's get some more. Now let's go to page let's get to the point. Let's read. Let's go to page 113, and we're gonna read Samuel.
Second paragraph. Samuel in Nagdella lived from 983 to 1056. He started out as a grocer. His acquisition of knowledge in the language, mathematics, and philosophies was extraordinary because Samuel had a beautiful handwriting. He was appointed secretary of the grand visitors. In the position, he was able to put to good use his wisdom and knowledge. When the visitors died, Samuel succeeded him as an advisor to the Moorish king of Granada.
Didn't we just read that history that they controlled the areas of Granada and all of that, right? The Moors did, right? Read.
On several occasions, he was appointed as a head of the Moorish armies of Granada. Samuel Nagdella was respected also in Jewish circles.
In Jewish, because the Jews was amongst them too. Read.
The king of Granada elevated him to a position of Nagid, that is prince of leader of the Jews.
So now you see in history that the Jews were intertwined with the Moors and the Berbers. So when it says that we would get a period of time to break, we had a break for 1,000 years. We was royalty. Let's read this. Now let's see when that break ended. Now let's go to page 115. Now, how long was the dragon supposed to be bound up? How long was the Moors rule? 1,000 years. Was that prophecy fulfilled? All right. See that? Let's read. Watch this.
It was AD 1492.
Right here. In order
to satisfy Queen Isabella of Spain, King Mano of Portugal propagated a royal decree expelling the Jews and Moors from his country in 1496.
And when?
1496.
This decree started in 1496. We right around the corner from 1,000 years. By the time 1500s came, they was fully in charge. That was a period of 1,000 years. That means that what we just read, wait, hold on. What we just read in Revelations, that's what they call it? That's Dark Age history. In the Bible, we just read Dark Age history. You would never know that. You thought Revelation was just some dragons coming out of the water about to eat everybody. We read in Dark Age history. Do y'all see what we reading? That's powerful. I don't think y'all get it. Said a dragon will be 1,000 years chained up. That's exactly 1,000 years. Can I make this up? Can you make this up? Cannot make this up. That is prophecy. They're giving you dates, time periods, time frames. That is a book that we read. Now, guess what? Who confident in this book? Walk out of here, you be confident as hell in this book. Being confident, because we always, our favorite motto is faith without sight, right? But now I gave you a little sight. They fall is coming up, we can read Obadiah. We can read we can get some of that. They're gonna fall in a minute though. They fall about to come. They're gonna fall once Israel is waking up. You understand? And that's what's happening now. All right. So let's finish reading that.
The Jews who were expelled from Spain and Portugal were scattered throughout the Mediterranean coast. It is estimated that over 100,000 Jews departed from Spain and Portugal during the persecution and the expulsion. Some of these Jews went to Northern Europe, Italy, and Turkey, but most of them went to Muslim countries of Northern and Western Africa.
Wait, why is this important? Because where did these Jews go? To where? Northern and what? Pay attention to this. What big event happened in the 15th century? Huh? The what? The slave trade happened shortly after that. I can't make this up. So what happened? We ruled for 1,000 years. The dragon was chained for 1,000 years. And once that 1,000 years broke, we went back where? Into captivity. Where was the slave ports at? West Africa. Where did most of us go? And then the Arabic slave trade, what happened? So now the Jews that went to North, because it said most of us went to North Africa and West Africa. Well, the slave trade was off the coast of West Africa, and the Arabs was heavily into the slave trade and the Arabic slave trade in North Africa. So who was getting rounded up as slaves? The Native Americans. Now that's another prophecy. They was already over there getting oppressed. Let's get that precept real quick. Press together. I need that.
Oh, Isaiah 50.
Yeah, let's get that precept. So the northern kingdom, let's get a prophecy on that.
Yeah, Jeremiah 50 and 33. Jeremiah 50 and 33.
Man, the Bible beautiful, ain't it? God damn. It's a powerful, excuse my language. Powerful book, man.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33.
Uh-huh.
Thus said the Lord Yahweh of
This is your
hosts,
question.
the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
The children of who?
The children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
When in the Bible was the only time Israel as a nation, which is the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, were oppressed in the Bible? In Egypt. There's nowhere else in the Bible where the northern and southern kingdom was oppressed in the magnitude of being kicked out of their land together. It's only one place that happened. Where did that happen? But where else? America. It says that they were oppressed together. So is it a coincidence that when we got taken from Africa, we came over here to meet who in captivity?
Hey, look. And
By
look,
what man though? The
and
same
look,
man.
and look, in the ancient world, right? When we came into Egypt, who was there already? Joseph.
Brother was over
Oh,
there.
yeah.
The head,
Oh, come
the
on.
head of the northern kingdom.
Oh, say that, huh?
Yeah,
Say
the
that.
youngest one, right?
Wow. Did y'all get what he just said? Say that.
Yeah.
Say that.
In this modern day Egypt, Joseph was here. You know what I'm saying? In ancient Egypt, Joseph was there. We met him. Same way.
You can't make this up. You can't make this up. I'm trying to tell y'all, you cannot make this up. Wow. Hey, I'm so confident in my word. I mean, do we need to bring out more? We can keep going all day. We can be here all day just bringing out prophecy.
The Bible teach all the nations their history.
Come on.
Teach them their history.
It's showing them their history.
In
Yeah.
the Bible. They don't even
See that? So you get it? Everybody get it? That's amazing, man. All praises. So that'll conclude class. All right. Shalom to everybody online. I hope everybody got edified. Shalom to the family. Enjoy the rest of your Sabbath.
David,